you working for Google as an engineer, right?
Yeah.
But are there many women being engineers at Google?
So I think there aren't many women engineers in general. So if you look at women engineers at Google, you pretty much get what you expect. You have the same percentage as university female graduates pretty much in every location in the world. So the answer is yes and no.
Are there so few women doing like computer science?
So that's actually a good question that I'm not even, I thought of it a lot and I'm not really sure. I think basically it's a problem of perception. So I think many times young girls in their minds would see computer engineering or science in general as something that's, for boys only, something that's very not interesting, not innovative, not creative, and then they would kind of tend to drift away from this career path, which for me is, I think of engineering as something highly innovative, very, very creative. Every day I learn new things, I do new things. So for me it's quite a surprise that there aren't as many women in engineering.
Okay, so after all, it isn't that hard as it seems, or is it? Or I don't know. I think of engineering and computer science in Google as something very abstract. I can't really imagine what you're doing, actually.
So for me, computer science is basically solving people's problems or making their lives easier and better. You can think of like search engine. That's like the classic example. They can really have access to information that they haven't had before. You can think of YouTube as the same, media that allows people to communicate and do it so easily over line, on the internet and from all over the globe. And pretty much all of Google products kind of try to do that. So they try to innovate and make things easier on people. And things get, we've recently launched Google Instant, right? So things kind of, I guess, gets better and better over time. The use cases change, so it's really interesting to be working in this environment. So although search has been, we solve the, in a sense, I guess, we have a search engine working. There's still always things to do and to make it better, to make it faster, to handle more data. So this is basically what computer science is about, scale.
Yeah. Well, Google is probably one of the most powerful companies in the world, I would say, since it's influencing our life in many aspects. And as you said, Google started with a search engine, but now there's so many other projects like Google Books and I don't know what, and also this education program that you talked about on the panel. Why is Google engaging in so many fields? Why isn't search engine just enough?
So actually Google's mission or mission statement is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. So a search engine is just a very narrow part of that vision, right? It's just one type of information, and it's making it globally accessible, but also, for instance, your phone. That's a new form of accessibility, of globally accessible, right? You have Google Maps wherever you go with you. So as technology changes, the mission statement or the interpretation of it can change. But everything we do is still under that hood of, organizing everything and make it universally accessible.
And do you think, since it is that powerful, there's a certain responsibility? Well, I would say.
So I'm not sure I'm the right person to be asking these type of questions, but I guess we're all responsible as a society to content, right? Kids are exposed, if you're talking about kids are exposed to potentially non-appropriate content, and it's not, it's out there, and it's definitely a debate in the modern world where parents have to, pay more attention to what their kids are doing maybe online. So, but with this comes a really big benefit. So when I was a child, if I wanted to learn something, I had to go to the library, look for the encyclopedia, and it was a process, and not all kids could do it, because my parents, they could afford, to have a car to drive me there. But not everyone has the accessibility to go to these places. So I think everything comes with a cost, but if you look at the greater benefit, I say this is definitely something we should be encouraging.
Yeah, but now there's so much information out there. It's like everybody can put something on the internet, and then you have to help people somehow to organize this information, to understand this information. Is that part of the task of Google too? So help understanding.
So I think I kind of answered that previously. So Google, we're not putting the content out there. We're making it more accessible, and we're making the users, you're making it easier on them to find the content. We're not actively creating anything.
Then maybe we can talk about your project in Israel. Maybe you can just say a few words about it.
Yeah, of course.
What it is.
So the idea is basically to expose young girls to technology and to computer science.
Okay.
And the way we do this is by hosting monthly visits at the Google office in Israel. And we introduce the girls to three things. So first, we show them what a high school environment looks like. Then we explain to them what computer science really is. And I think most importantly, we bring them together with female engineers, people that have been where they've been and are of the same gender, that they can really engage in a conversation with and ask them anything that's on their mind. And a lot of these girls come with misconceptions about what does an engineer look like, what do they do. They think that we come in the morning and kind of not talk to anyone during the entire day, which is of course not true. And then when they come to us and they see how innovative and how creative the work environment is, it really sometimes makes a change in their perception of computer science. And by doing so, we're actually increasing the number of girls studying computer science in high school.
Yeah, and as you said, this is really amazing because in Germany we don't do that in high school. And how important do you think that is to have computer science in high school? Like not, as a subject.
I think it's important to have science in high school.
Okay.
I think computer science is a form of science, but I think in high school level, if you look at physics or math or computer science, they all have one thing in common. They really develop the way that you think. So I don't think it's cool to study computer science, but you could get very similar effects by studying any kind of science. And actually, the program that we run would encourage any science at all. Like we're good with math, we're happy if they go and study physics, we're happy with everything. But because we're Google, then we show them computer science applications. But the same thing is also true for all other exact science disciplines.
Maybe last question, media competence, do you teach that also for this?
So not so much. It's not a course. It's really a 2-hour visit.
Okay.
And what we do is we explain to them how a search engine works, and they really leave with a feeling, which sometimes is true, that they can go and build their own small search engine if they have some background or maybe in a few years. And this is kind of the idea, giving them a sense of self-competence and basically confidence in themselves and what they can do.